Wonderful. Well, good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to episode 11 of Heresy Hammer. It's going to be a short one this evening, isn't it? I
Yeah.
am your privileged host this evening, John. I'm joined by Lee at Death from the Shadows and Rob, the venerable at Medas Miniatures. Paul can't be bothered to be with us tonight, so
Fucking
we'll soldier
running
on,
theme, isn't it?
soldier on regardless. I mean, just delete him. He can just be a guest commentator.
He's off burning salamander toys.
Is that right?
We've already had people say to us, "Are you looking for a new pool? Can I join?"
Yeah. What is a poll, people? Cool. Right. Yes, that's us. So the people who aren't us are Cryptic Cabin. Now, Cryptic Cabin
Well, one of them is us.
one of neither Cryptic nor Cabin is us.
Oh, what? The Meadows?
Ignore him for a second. I know it's difficult to. I know it's quite an imposing presence, but Cryptic Cabin are both a physical store in the kind of Rob/Paul area, but also have a really useful online shop as well. They've been really good helping us out recently with our competition we announced in episode 10. There is going to be a separate video, I believe, coming out that will detail all of the ways to enter and all of the cool stuff you can win. But we just want to give a huge shout out to guys at Cryptic Cabin. Thank you so very much. And if you're looking at buying some heavily discounted Heresy toys with extremely high levels of customer service, then visit the Cryptic Cabin link that will pop in the description or on our Instagram, etc. Go through that, and that lets them know you've come from us, and we'll both be super appreciative. Next person we want to talk about is someone called Medas Miniatures. I believe he uses potatoes to paint toys, but for those of you who are unfamiliar with Rob's work, Rob is just the most productive man I've ever come across. Just disgustingly productive. Can paint a world-class Falcon in less than 48 hours. Is that right, Rob?
That's right, yeah.
So if you fancy getting some toys painted and you've got an eye for quality, deep pockets, and lots of patience because you've booked it for about 6 months solid, then give Rob.
We'll do some inflation beating prices. I don't know. We'll cut you a deal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll say get them booked in now and get your pricing locked in for next
We'll
year.
call it the trust discount, maybe. Let's do something.
Yeah, like absolutely. This time you'll be needing to bring your payment to wheelbarrow. So cool. So the main theme of tonight's episode is we're going to be looking at the Space Wolves. This is the kind of latest in our Legion deep dive. This was the probably the one I think that's been requested the most. So we finally caved to popular opinion, and we're going to be focusing on the jort wearing joke Legion this evening. So stay tuned for that. But before that, we come to the now ubiquitous corrections and clarifications section. So this should have been included in the last episode, but Paul didn't bother including it. now he's fucked off, so he's left poor old Lee to pick up the pieces. Lee, do you want to run through what we cocked up here?
Yeah, so obviously going back to when we were talking about World Eaters, shout out to Brian Henriksen. It was him who was the first to make us aware.
Although every single fucking person that we know then subsequently told.
So this is Angron's warlord trait, and essentially you can only use the advance reaction. And I remember reading that last line, but may only make advanced reactions about 1,000 times. And I still couldn't get my head around it because I kept reading it as advanced reactions. I kept putting a D on the end for no reason, being fucking dyslexic. So he can make 3 reactions, but he can only use the advanced reaction. And then the other one was bitter duty. So I think we said any independent character can join a unit with bitter duty, which is that's how it used to be in the old edition, isn't it? Yeah. But that was wrong. You can only join a unit with bitter duty if you also have the rule bitter duty.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for that. Eventually, we'll come to a rule that we actually know. So
No, we won't. No.
Stay tuned. Right. So it's my job this week to pick through the submissions of your images on Instagram using the hashtag Heresyhammer. Bearing in mind we've got nearly 3,000 submissions now. So if we haven't got to your stuff, it doesn't mean we're not going to. But obviously we can only show so many a show, and we're getting way more in than we can show. So the first one on the left is you know what, Rob, you can talk through these guys. You've been painting green boys this week. What do you reckon to these pyroclasts from Magoo models?
It's always very difficult doing a project for a client and then immediately kind of going, oh man, I now want to do a small force of these, but I must resist at all costs. Yeah, these are absolutely fantastic. I take my hat off to anybody who deals with all the trim and the kind of Drake hide on the salamanders. But yeah, these look absolutely awesome. And if you haven't seen Magoo models, he's just done some Ultramarines, and the Proteus he's just done is top notch. It's really, really good.
Wonderful. That Proteus is such a lovely blank canvas. Lee, what do you reckon to Nucerian's Khan, the Not Betrayer?
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. It's rare that you see him without the helmet on, to be honest. You usually see some form of helmet. So I'm liking it. I'm liking the pale skin. I like it almost looks like metallic red he's used there. I don't know if it's just the camera.
I think it is. I was trying to figure this out as well. I think it is metallic. I think I think it contrasts really nicely.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. That's something you don't really see much. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fucking awesome, isn't it? I mean, who doesn't love Khan fucking chopping people into pieces?
He will do that. Yeah, exactly. He is quite the chopper. What's up next? What have we got to see next? I can't remember. That's it. Yes. So on the right, I specifically requested people to give us more. This is the current state of my army pictures, and these Alpha Legion from Hampus Hobbies really kind of struck a chord with me. I think he's quite a mixture of like Tortuga, Chad Bros, and like new plastics in there too. Yeah. But I really, really liked the kind of not quite blue, not quite purple kind of hue that he's gone with on the armor. I think.
Would you describe it as an indigo color? Maybe is that what is that?
No, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't describe it as an indigo.
No.
I'm gonna Google indigo.
Yeah, fucking hell. It's more a kind of a seafoam sort of a thing. So that
is the fucking color indigo. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. Well, perhaps he can DM us on Instagram and tell us what color it is, so this can settle this argument.
It's a fucking indigo right there. It's basically the same color.
These are great. Just calm down.
They because they look like the color from the front of Legion.
Correct.
Ah, yes, yeah.
When the Space Marine is in an indigo armor.
It's more of a purple color, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Lee, do you want to have a little chat about what Warhammer Madness has done to his Fire Raptor? Not a Fire Raptor, Storm Eagle, even. Sorry.
Yeah,
start another argument.
I just fucking love Ultramarines. I don't. They're the Legion I love to hate. You know what I mean? Like being a Word Bearers player, I kind of feel like I have to hate Ultramarines, but yeah, it's fucking sexy, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, there's not. What more do you say? Like, it's just a crisp, awesome. I love the blue. Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a good solid work.
I mean, it's just a pig of a model as well, isn't it? Just like to build it, to hold it, to paint it. It's such a fucking ass of a model.
Yeah, even getting it to a point where you can apply some blue paint deserves a special badge. So
yeah.
So go and check out Warhammer_Madness's more work on Insta. He's got some other bits and bobs that are going on too. So go and check that out. What is next, please, Mr. Lee? Oh, so on the left we've got at Bufflegum. He's doing a very swanky Sigismund conversion. I am very much looking forward to seeing this with some paint on, because I think
okay.
Fucking what? What are you saying?
Well, you just said I didn't really. You obviously gave me the pictures. I put them up, and I didn't realize that this is a Sigismund conversion.
Yeah. What did you think it was?
Well, it's got Dark Angels. He obviously hasn't taken off the Dark Angels symbol on the leg. And I was looking at it thinking, this looks more like an Imperial Fist than a Dark Angel.
Funny that.
You'd be right.
That's fucking why.
Yeah. All right, then,
So,
well, Rob, why don't you tell us what you think about this then?
Yeah, it's awesome, and it'll be fucking huge as well. I would be tempted to put that on a 40mm base.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah,
just to add to the sheer chunk of the dude. But I'm always amazed.
The pose is absolutely great. I think I just love everything about this. Like, it really stuck out to me. And yeah, it's not often that we feature kind of too many kind of whips. So I thought this would be a cool one to include, and look forward to seeing the sort of the finished work when it gets around to painting as well. Right, who wants to give Harry a little bit of love? Not Rob, obviously. Maybe Lee.
Fucking yeah, he's giving me COVID. I don't want to give.
I nearly put at Patient Zero as his name, but then everyone googling Patient Zero. I fucking love this. I love he banged these out mega quick. He's done an absolutely top job, but not just that. I love the picture. It's so fucking cool. Just a bunch of murderers coming out of their
murder bus
with all the chains and crap in the background on the top of the ramp.
Yeah,
he's done an absolutely bang up job on these. I really like it.
In the hand as well. It's a good idea, I think, to put the Mark II on kind of cork because it just raises them up with the Mark VI, and I think that it pays dividends.
It's what I've done with my Cataphracti Terminators, just to give them a subtle little leg up, because they just don't quite look that big compared to the new Mark VI. But yeah, it's a subtle way of, like you say, on the tabletop, making them look a bit bigger.
Yeah, definitely. I'm painting some Rampages for my World Eaters at the moment in Mark II, and they are fucking tiny. They are really tiny. So they're all on big, sort of more dynamic bases to try and give them that feel. But no, Harry did an outstanding job to paint this quality in such a short time period. He must be applauded. I think we've got one more little slide to go. Yeah, of course we have. Right, so who wants to talk about Kieran's Apparapta Imperialis's Emperor's Children?
What's not to love? What can you even find fault with perfection? I mean, look at this. It's awesome. The banner is the best bit, I think. The attention to detail on the script work on the banner is amazing.
God, talented little boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Lee, got anything to add on these, or has Rob covered it with you can't perfection?
I think to be able to do gold bolters and not look shit is just fucking awesome, basically.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, big up the gold bolters.
Yeah, it just look awesome. Yeah, like you say, there's nothing else to say, really, is there? And these are the Tortuga Bay as well, are they? I think.
Yeah, they are. But I must say.
Stuff. Did we say this before? We showed some of this stuff before, haven't we? I think.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Green stuffed the symbol on the chest.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
I think he used the pressed. I think.
Right. Oh well, that's shit then. Yeah. Yeah, they're awesome. Love them.
Yeah, and then on the right we've got a super atmospheric Contemptor Dreadnought from Heresy Gremlin, our good friend and yours, Wesley, who is putting out some incredibly well photographed Night Lords. Yeah, the guy's got a really, really kind of unique paint style. Like, he's got this blue absolute tea.
Yeah.
Really sells the whole aesthetic of Night Lords. I think he's kind of really cracked this, even down to the lightning.
Absolutely, it's so good. But the best bit is it's a well-made Contemptor without any when it's been fit together. He's done that so well. The build on that, I think.
So I don't know what his setup is for taking photographs, but I normally hate black backgrounds because you just see fuck all.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously got lighting on it. It just looks so good coming out you can just imagine it coming out of the darkness, can't you? It's just like a horrible fucking Night Lord Contemptor.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah.
Cool. So, as always, keep submitting your pictures on Instagram. Use the hashtag Heresyhammer, and we will be selecting our favorites. No, in fact, not our favorites. We'll be selecting a selection of the kind of our favorites for each show. So, yeah, keep popping them up. We'll keep chatting about them whenever we get around to recording these shows. You might notice that this show is coming up quite soon in comparison to our previous one, but that's just because myself and Rob are both spending some time away from these glorious shores, so we need to get one in the bag for everyone. Cool. Right, what is next, please, Mr. Lee? Yes, Heresy Thursday. So we've gone a tiny little bit off piece with these ones, and we feel that they are important to include, given that we know that the militia rules are not too far away. This is a huge release for 40k, but we also know that these are going to make the backbone of many a planetary defense force / Imperial army going forward. So, gents, what do we think?
I think that what makes these kind of perfect to use in 30k is that they're basically a carbon copy of what is on the front of
Echoes of Eternity.
Second Siege of Terror, but what's it called? The Lost and the Damned, is it? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Where the guys are guys in the trenches and
no, is it not? Is it not Echoes? Because it's got Sanguinius on it, isn't it?
It's
I've
lost and the
Lost and the Damned.
And they're an absolute carbon copy, and I think that for that justifiable reason to use them in 30k. To be honest, I wouldn't resent somebody using these for solar orcs, to be honest. But I'm sure they'll be used for militia.
Well, we'll see the model at the end. So I put the whole range up. There's obviously the troops. I really like these because the helmets are almost a throwback to the original ones. When they do the big 20-odd man box or 30 box.
Yeah,
they look a lot less derpy because they've been slightly scaled up.
You're right. Actually, the scale is so much better. The heads are much more in line, whereas before they had massive
massive heads and tiny bodies. Yeah, I think that's made an enormous difference. The head's probably the same size. These are all good. These are absolutely, and the heavy bolt one especially is the best one, admittedly, but they are all good.
Yeah,
I fucking love them.
I don't love these quite so much. But,
I think they're pretty
cool. I didn't say I didn't like them. Calm down. But yeah, not my entire favorite.
Yeah, I like these a lot. I like them.
They're good.
I'm not sure what else there is. Other new Sentinels.
Like them a bit less. Crack on. I don't think they're quite as good. I think these are excellent.
I think she's awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
Yeah. And I think even just some conversions and I think
you've got dual pistols, like from the Wild West. It's awesome. It's wicked.
It's just, mate. She's gonna come and take
She doesn't look like she's going hungry though, does she?
They never fucking do though. That's
not shy on ration packs, is she? Wherever they're fighting.
She's been sucking down a lot of nutrient paste. Cultivating mass for the nuclear winter. And then obviously on the right we've got the new Kaskin models. These are fucking stunning.
Are these like the SAS of Adia, are they? Is that
these are the best shit guys.
Right. And such a good throwback to the original models. Like I can't think. I don't know what they're called. They did a load of dudes a bit like this for 40k, didn't they? But I can't think what they're called.
The Forge World versions or the
no Games Workshop. They did.
Well, Games Workshop did their Kasakins like for the previous edition, and then
they did a plastic model. They just look shit. They were kind of meant to be these, but they're not really these. I can't remember what they called them, but
I know exactly what you mean. Were they the guy with the berets in 40k?
Yeah.
Oh, the stormtroopers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And they just looked. I fucking hated them, but these look fucking awesome.
Is this part of a kill team? Is this?
Yes.
This is part of a kill team, but what they've been doing is they release them as part of a kill team, and then a while later they'll release it as a kit on its own. But yeah, this is the first time that we haven't had a release in for Heresy. in between shows, and I just thought, yeah, it'd be worth having a look at these because they're gonna be coming to militia armies at some point, aren't they?
I don't think even Games Workshop are naive enough not to think that releasing a new plastic guard range in a similar time scale to releasing the militia book for Heresy is not going to have quite some degree of crossover.
But like I say, I wouldn't be mad if someone used these guys on the right as solar ogs. Like they're fully clothed shock troopers. Like why not?
And they're big guys as well. Big old boys.
Yeah, very sexy.
Wonderful. Right. Here we go. Space Wolves. So this was without a shadow of a doubt our most requested Legion when we last asked for people's submissions about which Legio to do next. I think we probably had 3 times as many requests for Space Wolves as we had everything else combined, which is really odd because I still think, I personally think at events and stuff, there is slightly underrepresented Legion on the tabletop, but they seem to have a very loyal and dedicated following. I must admit that in recent sort of weeks, I've been really seriously considering about what I'm going to do for my loyalist project, and Wolves has something that has really, really, really kind of grabbed me. So I placed into one of our group chats that I was considering doing a Space Wolves army, and I'll read you something here. So this is one of our if you're into Heresy in the UK, you're going to be familiar with Samit. He's part of the Lee Jones Astartes. And I'll just read you verbatim what he put me. He said, nah, you ain't allowed to do wolves. You're not allowed. Stick to your hazard stripes, bro. We don't need your kind here.
Jeez.
Nah, we don't need some broken wolves list with allied steeds tyrants. Be gone. So that's me told. Wolves it is.
I don't need your kind here. I don't know what to say about that.
He clearly knows I'm not got the figure for jorts. So So I think before we get started, Space Wolves are one of the most iconic legions and probably most iconic armies when we talk about the 40k universe as well. They've become a bit of in 40k a bit of a meme legion.
Well, they're a fucking meme legion in fucking 30k as well.
Well, this is exactly it, right? They've got, let's be honest, one of the fucking most terrible model ranges going. A player base that's constantly going,
so bad.
And
it could, and you know, I actually thought it couldn't get worse, and then they knock it out of the park by bringing out those terrible fucking helmets. I just couldn't think they could get worse. Like after banana Furgate and upside down bolters.
Yeah.
Without feeding the tangent, like you look at the colour and they look fucking amazing. They're just they're barbarians, aren't they? You know, the cold grey armour, the markings, and then you look at the derpy fucking styling wolf helmet and think,
what the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah, it's like the person that sculpted everything to do with the wolves has never ever looked at this, or they've looked at it and gone, nah, fuck that, I'm just in the bin and just done their own thing. I've looked at the 40k stuff and gone, right, what do we need? We need claws, we need jorts, we need frost everything.
Frost everything.
People in sleighs. Right.
I think they were a victim of, they were the first Legion to be 3D kind of like designed.
Yeah.
And they learned a lot from that process, or learned how not to fuck it up.
They made a lot of mistakes.
But a lot of really, really, really bitch basic mistakes. Like, don't do bolters upside down. Just fucking terrible.
And the number of I cannot believe the number of people that must have signed every single one of those things off before it got to the point where it was released in the public domain.
That's
everyone
the thing,
thought,
though, isn't it?
Ridiculous. So anyway, look, there's clearly a lot of love out there for Space Wolves, just none of it, unfortunately, in Forge World's design department. So should we make a start?
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So Lee, can you please tell us all about Bestial Savagery?
Yeah, indeed. So a unit made up entirely of models with the infantry unit type and the Space Wolf special rule that chooses to run in the movement phase may still make a shooting attack in the shooting phase and declare a charge in the assault phase of the same turn. Any shooting attacks made in the same turn as that in which a unit with this special rule has run are made as snapshots. So that's fucking insane already.
Correct.
Units that cannot run, such as Legion, Cataphracti, Terminators, or models that do not have the vehicle or infantry unit type, instead gain +1 weapon skill on any turn in which they successfully charge, even if that charge is considered disordered. Models with the vehicle unit type and this special rule that make ram attacks increase the strength of any hits inflicted as part of that attack by +1 to a maximum of 10. I mean, do anyone make ram attacks?
Yeah. Oh, mate. Ramming for days. Ramming for days, mate. Ramming for days. I think let's be honest and say that's one of the best. The best.
I think it's got to be up there, isn't it? In a meta which is a shooting meta, this makes close combat, I feel like a viable option.
Yeah, I think it makes Cataphracti Terminator squads viable as well because they can delete them. And it just stacks with the Varagir rule to make them +1 weapon skill on top of their weapon skill 5 anyway. So on top of that, it just makes like everything brutal, I think.
Yeah.
It is chef kiss. Let's be honest. It's if to borrow from the Eye of Horus, these would be up on the Mount Rushmore of Legion traits, wouldn't it? It's difficult to know exactly where to put them, but they're up there. So they're also one of the legions that gets access to like the majority of the interesting console and Praetor types. So as part of the Lords of Winter, any Legion Centurions, Legion Cataphracti Centurions, and Legion Tartarus Centurions with this special rule may not select the Chaplain, Librarian, or Primus Medicate console upgrades. Instead, these models get access to the Pack Thane, Speaker of the Dead, and Caster of the Runes upgrades, which, spoiler alert, are all pretty fucking cool. So, should we take a little look and see what these things all do after Rob's talks about the advanced reaction?
So no prey escapes the wolf. This reaction may be made once per battle in the opposing player's turn when any enemy unit with one or more models within 12 inches of a friendly unit made up entirely of models with the Space Force special is moved during the movement phase. Once the enemy unit that triggered this reaction has been moved, but before any other units are moved, a single friendly unit made up entirely of models with the Space Force special rule that can draw a line of sight to the enemy unit that moved may immediately move up to a number of inches equal to the highest initiative characteristic in the unit, and then declare a charge targeting the enemy unit that moved if it is within 12 inches. A charge declared as part of this reaction is resolved immediately, and if successful, the combat will be fought as normal in the following assault phase. It's just basically a better version of the Imperial Fist reaction. It's an out of turn charge where you can really spring a trap on your opponent, and it's your initiative plus a 2d6 charge roll as well, which is fucking nuts.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great.
I had to read this a couple of times because, again, like a lot of the rules, it's just
so really shitty. Yes.
But it is fucking insane. It's the fact that they get to move and then charge.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it because it's themey as fuck. It's just Space Wolves are like, right, let's get them, and they run a bit and then fucking hack them down.
Yeah.
But it's the fact also as well that they get all the benefits of charging. It's just so good, isn't
and
it?
they're not going to be shot at because they can't be reacted to in this as well.
Yeah.
So it's
out of turn.
Yeah, and it can't be made disordered as well. This is absolutely a premier advanced reaction as well.
I would say it's probably one of the best, if not the best.
I would be inclined to agree with you. The fact of the matter is as well. Let's not beat around the bush. The team behind the game knew what was coming down the line model wise, so they thought they probably best sweeten them early with the advanced reaction and the Legion trait. Right,
shit helmet. So we'll
you
give.
can only use this reaction if the unit has one of those helmets in it.
Nobody would be using that.
No, we'd be playing the game. Right, what's up next, Lee? The Warlord traits. Rob, do you want to tell us about a Warlord trait?
I certainly will. So,
pick one.
Howl of Morkai. Once per battle, the controlling player of a warlord with this trait may declare the use of this trait at the start of their player turn. For the duration of that player turn only, all friendly unit models with the Legion Astartes Space Force special rule gain a bonus of +1 strength if the unit they are part of has successfully charged any enemy units. In addition, an army whose warlord trait has this trait may make an additional reaction to the opposing player's movement phase. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
This
all right.
is
I think you've got to line up a couple of assaults, I think, to make the use of this. I think you need to be clever about, I'm going to be assaulting 2 or more times during this phase or during this turn, and therefore I'm going to use my Howl of Morkai. But I could see it definitely being very, very useful, combined with the fact that you can, run and charge. And also some units will get +1 weapon skill as well. I think it just all stacks together really, really nicely.
Yeah, this is fucking top tier as well. It's really, really good. I mean, you are definitely right. Like you need to be, you need to set the table to your advantage, and to take the most of it. But
I don't think it's the best, but I think that I get because lots of warlord traits you just have all the time, either in game or your unit will have them. But I think that you could probably leverage this quite well, but you do need to think carefully about how you're going to leverage it.
Yeah, but again, when we kind of look at it in comparison or in conjunction, with some of the rights of war, I think you can kind of see where you might be able
where it's going.
Where it's the road it's directing you down. So Hunger of the Void is the one in the middle. A warlord with this trait gains an additional wound at the end of any assault phase in which he inflicts at least 1 unsaved wound on an enemy model. This cannot increase the warlord's characteristics above his starting value, including any bonuses from more gear items like ether and armor. But if this effect is triggered whilst the warlord has his maximum number of wounds, he then gains +1 attack and strength until the end of the controlling player's next turn. In addition, an army whose warlord has this trait may make an additional reaction in the opposing player's assault phase. What do we think to this? I think it's fine.
Yes, all right.
Yeah,
if you want a close combat monster, I think it's
and you are going to have combat characters in a Space Force army, and you are going to be getting them into combat. It's one of the things that you can be more assured of in a Wolves army as opposed to most of the other legions, is the fact that you are going to have people who are going to be dick kickers in combat, and you are going to relatively reliably be able to get them into combat as well. So I think this is pretty cool. Not sure it's the one to take necessarily, but maybe I would. What do I know? Clearly nothing, according to some. And Lee, do you want to read Crownbreaker to us?
Yeah, so the Warlord and all models in any unit he has joined gain the preferred enemy independent character special rule. Those models also gain the Feel No Pain 5+ special rule when locked in combat with 1 or more enemy models with the independent character rule. In addition, an army whose warlord has this trait may make an additional reaction in the opposing player's movement phase, so long as the warlord has not been removed as a casualty. This is the one I like. I quite like the the fluff of the Space Wolves is obviously the hunt, isn't it? They're going after someone, they're hunting them down. So you stick this on your warlord and you hunt down the enemy's warlord. I just quite like that. And then you don't just hunt down the warlord, you fucking murder him because you've got preferred enemy independent character and Feel No Pain 5+.
Yeah, I think these are all really cool. I think I can see situations where you'd want to take all 3. Obviously you can't, but where you want to. It's not like with some of the other legions we've looked at where there are clear standouts. I think these are all really, really good. So I think Space have been dealt a good hand here as well.
Yeah, I think you definitely build a unit around the Crownbreaker, right? You build your character and your unit around.
Well, I think you build a unit around pretty much all of them, to be honest, because the +1 strength is good, but for some weapons it's not optimal. You know what I mean? So again, if you're taking that, you want to look at what you're equipping unit that your warlord's going in with. So but they're all fluffy and they're all there's not a bad one there, is there?
Absolutely. I think we've been blessed there. So let's take a little look at some of the rights of war. So like we're saying, you can I know, right? And they're good as well. This is the thing, right? They're all good, and they all build nice and differently. So
really fucks.
So I will read the Black Watch. So this is the first right of war in the book. So all models with Legion started Space Force rule special rule in attachment using this right of war gain the hatred traitors and preferred enemy Primarch special rules.
Fuck me, that's pretty fucking good.
Hatred traitors just across the board.
Fucking hell.
What's not to like about that, eh?
That's great for events. Not so
Yeah.
good if you're just playing one of your mates who's also a loyalist. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't get too excited about this until you read the limitations.
Yeah. Okay, right. So all models in a detachment using this right of war gain the fearless special rule when locked in combat with a Primarch that has the traitor special rule or is otherwise using the traitor allegiance. And the last effect is when a unit from a detachment using this right of war has a charge declared for it targeting an enemy unit that includes a model with the Primarch unit type, that unit gains a bonus of +2 to its charge roll. So let's allow Lee to piss all over our chips by reading the limitations.
I mean, the limitations aren't terrible, but
okay, well, the limitations is right of war are it may only be taken by an allied detachment with the Legion as a Space Force faction.
interesting. Okay.
And may never be taken for a primary detachment. That is fucking cool. And I'm not going to say this now. We need more of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
More of this, please. This is good. So a detachment with this right of war might.
This is a great modelling opportunity. This is a fucking awesome 1,000 points. Awesome
Exactly,
looking
right.
modelling opportunity.
100%. Or if you're like in the Shattered Legion, assuming that Shattered Legions work in a similar way to they did previously as well, right? So this is fucking cool. If you just want to add a different dynamic to your existing loyalist army, bang these cunts in there. Get cracking.
Oh yeah, that's fuck. That's
fuck.
That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah,
awesome, I love it.
Christ.
I read this and then I was like, "There's only one thing I'd like to see added to this," and that says, if your primary detachment is Blood Angels, if you're within 6 inches of Space Wolves unit and you roll a 6, you have to immediately attack them.
Yeah, that'd be fucking cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is some really nice rules writing. I think we need more of this, please, or some not even necessarily rules writing, but just some nice dynamism.
It's just cool, isn't it? It's just cool.
Yeah, I've got no choice but to go on Forge World tonight, and
yeah. Well, don't. Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll share postage. Detachment with this right of war.
Can I just say something? Just in case people don't know the history of Space Wolves. So the idea, obviously, behind this is the Space Wolves got sent out to watch every Primarch before the Heresy started, because obviously the Space Wolves have a history of murking fucking naughty Marines. So that's where this comes from. It's the watch pack, isn't it? It's the guys that have been sent out to watch the Primarchs to make sure they don't fuck about.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, in the fluff, most of them end up getting killed.
Yeah, but that's what they wanted, really. Isn't
it? It's just cool. I love that, and it's such a throwback to the books as well. It's fucking awesome.
I'm going to be doing this for my Ultramarines, like where they're like, "Oh, yeah, Gullymorn, yeah, oh man, oh fuck, this is so cool."
It's worth bearing in mind as well, if you want a slightly bigger deep dive on some of the lore and stories behind the Space Wolf, you can check out episode 4 of Heresyhammer, which I think is choosing the Legion, the Loyalist Legions. So the second limitation is that detachment this right of war may not include any models with a vehicle or Primarch unit type, so it's just not as on foot. And obviously, this right of war may only be used by an army that has the Loyalist allegiance, because otherwise that would lead to all types of complications. Lee, are you in a position where you can read the next one, or would you like Rob to do it?
No, that's cool.
Lee's only just learned to read, by the way,
yes,
guys.
Yeah,
which is what I was just checking.
He's of actually reading.
Yeah.
All models in a Grey Slayer pack or Grey Stalker pack from a detachment using this right of war gain the hit and run special rule, and when making a hit and run move, may choose to move a number of inches up to the distance rolled, rather than the full distance, so long as they remain at least 1 inch away from any enemy unit at the end of this move. On the turn in which a unit from a detachment using this right of war enters play as part of a flanking assault, all models in that unit gain the Fleet 2 and Rage 2 special rules until the end of the player turn in which it enters play. Up to 3 units from a detachment using this right of war made up entirely of models of the infantry or cavalry unit types, and the Legion as a starter space wall special rule may be upgraded to grant all models in those units that outflank special rule for no additional points cost. Limitations: detachments using this right wall may only include a single heavy support choice, and at least one unit from a detachment using this right of war must be assigned to a flanking assault. Interesting.
So this is fucking cool. Now, we talked about synergizing with some of the warlord traits. I think this is the trait. This is the one that synergizes with the Howl of Morko, isn't it? Because you've laid your trap with your units in outflank. You've got your Varagir bearing down on people in their spot, and then you pop your Howl. Everything comes in. Everything gets fleet. Everything gets rage. Everything's getting +1 strength on the charge. Oh man.
I've yet to see any units, or there are very few units that can gain fleet. I can't
absolutely.
even think of any off the top of my head at the moment. Because fleet just came fucking with it.
To be honest, all of these rules, like I haven't seen much of hit and run. I haven't seen much of fleet, and I haven't seen much of the outflanking, unless I just haven't been looking at legions that have lots of access to it. But they're quite rare.
Pretty unique, yeah. They are quite rare. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and these fuckers get them all.
It's not even worlding as a rage, right? It's just plus attack.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Yeah,
I think that. Yeah, it's really cool.
These are very good. Very good.
I mean, I'd say the only setback is obviously the heavy support choice. That
it's three Leviathans.
I was about to say Talon of Leviathans. There you go. Happy days.
Well, I suppose if you're that guy,
or Predators, or 2 Kratos, or whatever. Because things are in squadrons now. It just doesn't. It's just
true. Plus, you're going to stick all your outflanking Terminators and Spartans, anyways, aren't you?
What I don't know, because I've not done any outflanking. Can you outflank? Can you assault from outflank now as well?
Ooh. I want to say yes,
but I'm sure you can. Yeah,
because you gain fleet and rage, which would be
you do. You can definitely assault from outflank. Yeah,
that means it's so powerful. It's incredibly powerful. I think that just the thing you'll be careful for is because you've got to do an outflank like a marker, and I think you've got to be careful that you are not then trapped by your opponent, or your opponent doesn't flee the area in which you are.
100%. I'm thinking, like, as an Iron Warriors player tends to have quite a vulnerable but powerful backfield. I would be concerned about having to face this. So
and I think that's a legit thing. Most people now are running heavy support squads sitting at the back of the table, or Nemesis Bolter squad sat at the back of the table. If you suddenly have a load of lunatics pop up on your flank, that could be your entire battle plan just fucking destroyed in one turn night. So
and you can get across. I think with an assault squad as well, you can get across. You could basically almost get across the table, right? Because you come on.
Oh, good, yeah.
You've got move 12, then you've got a run move, and then you've got fleet, and then you can charge as well. So I just think that these guys are so fucking quick. It doesn't even matter if your opponent's on the other side of the board. You can get there no matter what side you outflank on.
It's unreal. Yeah. Rob, do you want to read us about, or talk about the Bloodied Claw?
Yeah. So once per battle, at the start of their player turn, a player whose army includes a detachment using this right of war may declare a Bloody Claw. Once the Bloody Claw is declared until the start of controlling player's next turn, all models with the Space Wall special rule attachment using this right of war gain the following benefits: +1 to the score used to determine the winner of any assault. That's not cumulative though. Gain the fleet and furious charge special rules. Okay, I can see where you would synergize this with the Warlord trait, right?
Yeah, there they are again, fleet and furious charge this time as opposed to fleet and rage.
You gain the stubborn special rule, and if they already had the stubborn special rule or another special rule that allows them to ignore modifiers to leadership, gains the fearless special rule. Whoa, that's really interesting. I'll be interested to see what in the Legion, what units have stubborn then. The limitations, though, so during the turn in which the controlling player has declared the Bloody Claw, all units that include one or more models with the Space War special rule in this attachment capable of charging must always attempt to charge an enemy unit in the assault phase if there are any eligible targets in range. If multiple eligible targets are available, the controlling player may choose which to declare a charge against. So this is really interesting because there are very few rights of war that just basically lean into one turn, like everything happens on one turn and one turn only. And I think that's quite cool. I think that you've got to line up your, you've got to line up your ducks here in order to leverage everything. But I think it's cool nonetheless, with some cool benefits and cool rules.
Yeah, this is your classic 60% of the time. It works every time.
Yeah.
Right of war, isn't it? Let's be honest. So yeah, there's that fleet again. You've got Furious Charge time as opposed to Rage. I think it's like, you can see why this has been sort of tickling my pickle for the last few weeks, can't you? As something that is a different modeling challenge to what I've currently done, but also plays in a very different way to my main legion. So, right, Lee, what's up next? Oh, the armory of the Space Wolves. So here we go. It's everything we've ever wanted. It's the frost weapons. Right, let's have a little look. So essentially, what the Fenrisian axe is, we'll start off here. So any model with the Legion started Space Wolves rule may exchange a chainsword for a Fenrisian axe for 2 points. This is going to be your basic line guys, your Despoilers, your Grey Slayers, etc. are going to be able to take Fenrisian axes. It's strength +1, and it's got Reaping Blow for 2 points. You're going to take it, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Anyone not going to take it? No, good. Rob, do you want to have a little look at some of the frost blades? What stands out to you here?
So, any model with the Space Wolves and Independent Character special rule may exchange your power weapon for a frost blade for 5 points each. Any model with both the Space Wolf special rule and Independent Character special rules may exchange a power weapon for a Great Frost blade for 10 points. So your Frost Sword is +1 strength AP3. Melee specialist weapon and reaping blow, so it's slightly better than a normal sword. Frost axe is +1 strength and an AP2. Melee specialist weapon, unwieldy and reaping blow. Frost claw, strength user, AP3. Melee specialist weapon, shred and reaping blow. And you can see a bit of a theme going on here.
Yeah.
And the Great Frost blade is strength +2, AP2. Melee, reaping blow, and two-handed. That's pretty good, considering that it's at initiative, I think, as well. And then there are some rights of war that can buff your strength through Furious Charge, or using that Warlord trait, I think could also be pretty cool.
Should we quickly go through what Reaping Blow does whilst we're here? I was hoping someone would actually know off the top of the head rather than me trying to search through the rulebook.
It's +1 attack, basically, Reaping Blow. If you're in base contact with more models, I think.
Well, I thought that too, but I was not confident in anything that we ever say on this program. In order to, we're definitely going to get it right.
We make a guess.
It sounds about right.
Here you go. I've got it.
Yeah.
The model is in contact with more than one enemy model in the initiative step in which they fight. They gain a number of attacks equal to the value of X, as noted in the variant of the special rule.
Wonderful. So these weapons are all good. I don't think there's a particularly bad one there. They're all, and bearing in mind we've got other ways of buffing strength as well.
Yeah.
So with things like Furious Charge, with things like Warlord traits. So yes, I think these are really good. I think Great Frost Blades, again, on the right character, you're going to be striking initiative at strength 8.
Yeah.
So
that is amazing.
That's the one. That is the one.
Plus, and then you're getting the +1 weapon skill if you're in Cataphracti armor.
Spicy.
So,
really spicy.
Fucking murking people.
Yes. Also, Aether Rune armor. So any model with Space Wolves and Independent Character special rule does not have the unique unit subtype. Interesting. I like that. May exchange their Artificer armor for Aether Rune armor for 25 points. Aether Rune armor confers a 2+ armor save. In addition, increase the wounds characteristic of the model with +1. And importantly, grants the Adamantium Will 4+ special rules to that model. Now, in the meta that we've currently got where we play, that is worth its weight in myrrh. Having Adamantium Will, because just not being pinned by those fucking swats, telepathy librarians that everyone insists on bringing these days is just, could be a real, like, a genuine game changer, right?
Yeah.
Especially when we've got librarians intercept pinning units now, so great. Anything to add other than it's brilliant?
I mean, they're all good, really, aren't they? I wouldn't say there's anything that's particularly bad there. It's just, yeah. I mean, 25 points. Yeah, it's
You're gonna
fucking
take
awesome.
you're gonna take it for a +1 wound in adamantium will, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That's 25 points well spent. Cool. So that's the armory. Cool. So we'll move on from the armory to some of the unique console types. So, well, the first thing to say is the Jarl is actually not a console; it's actually a Praetor.
Oh. Right.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to us about the Jarl?
Yeah. Well, so a Legion Praetor, Legion Cataphractic Praetor, or Legion Tartarus Praetor may be upgraded to a Jarl for 10 points, gaining the Counter Attack 2 special rule. Just fucking do it. That's amazing. A model with the Jarl upgrade may also be given the Skirmish subtype at no additional cost in points. This must be decided at the start of the battle before any models are deployed and may not be changed during the battle. That's really interesting. So with Skirmish, it can be 3 inches apart from in a unit, but does it have to just be in a unit with Skirmish, though?
This is what I don't know, if I'm being honest.
Maybe Lee can quickly look at the
yeah.
Sorry, it takes me half hour to find a fucking rule in this book.
You've only learned to read this.
A unit that includes only models with the Skirmish subtype has a unit coherency range of 3 inches rather than 2 inches. A unit that includes only models with a Skirmish subtype increases all cover saves granted by terrain by 1. This only increases existing cover saves and does not grant one when in terrain that does not normally grant a cover save. This rule can not increase a cover save to better than 2+. So he has to be with other
Skirmish unit. Interesting.
Yeah. But you're going to take it 10 points for give counter attack 2 for that one time where you fuck up your charge.
Yeah. Although there must be a Space Force specialist unit that has Skirmish.
There must be. Well, you'd think so, but maybe we'll find out in a short while.
I'm excited.
Mate, I am semi-excited. So they also get a number of specialist consoles. The first one is the Thane. So the Thane essentially replaces a I don't know what the fuck is the Thane replacing. A champion Centurion, it's a basic kind of dude. So anyway, a Centurion, Cataphractic Centurion, or Tartarus Centurion with a Space Force special rule may upgrade to a Pack Thane. Instead of selecting any of the standard console upgrades, granting that model the benefits listed below. So it's 10 points in making a Thane. The Thane gets the counter attack 1 special rule.
It's good.
Very cool. And a model with a Pack Thane upgrade may also be given the Skirmish subtype and no additional points cost. Right. So essentially, what he's doing is he is the bitch level Jarl. You've got Mega Man, slightly less Mega Man, still 10 points, still does the same thing, but away you go. You can't give him a bike or a jet bike, but whatever, no one's going to do that anyway because nobody's that stupid.
That's interesting. Yeah, I just think that it's also worth bearing in mind here that whenever you see Legion Cataphractic, Legion Cataphractic, I also see +1 weapon skill.
Absolutely.
And then Legion Centurion and the Legion Tartarus, I see run and
charge. Exact.
Plus the counter attack 2, plus flow given another attack. Because the one thing Terminators struggle with is lack of attacks.
Clearing out big units. Yeah, they've not got the combat potency always to go alongside their survivability until potentially we maybe talk about a unit in the not too distant future that might well be able to dish it out as well as it can be dished upon. So stay tuned for that. What are the other consoles, Lee? What about the Caster of Runes? Why don't you talk about this chap?
So Caster of Runes plus 45 points, a Legion Centurion, Legion Tartarus Centurion, or Legion Cataphractic Centurion with the Legion as a starter space rules special rule may be upgraded to a Caster of Runes console instead of selecting any of the standard console upgrades, gaining the benefits listed below. Special rules. The caster of runes gains the Psyker subtype and must select one of the following psychic disciplines: Winds of Fenris, Divination, Telekinesis, or Biomancy. A caster of runes may not select any other discipline. In addition, a caster of runes gains the Adamantium plus 4+ special rule. War gear. A caster of runes may replace a power weapon, bolt pistol, or combi bolter with a force weapon at no additional points cost. In addition, a caster of runes may select a psychic hood for plus 15 points.
So the best thing about this guy, and if you're a Space Wolves player, I encourage you, if you want to take a librarian, take this guy, because you won't then be forced against your will into taking telepathy, because the prick can't do it. So definitely take this guy.
And then we have obviously the discipline Winds of Fenris. So the psychic weapon is Wrath of the Death Wolf, template, Strength 5, AP 4, Assault 1, Deflagrate Force. And the force rule being any psyker with a weapon or ability with a special rule may choose to make a psychic check before making any attacks with that weapon.
Whoa, that is. I'm sorry, I'm just reading ahead, and I was just. Sorry, I couldn't contain my excitement there.
If the check is successful, then the strength value of any attacks made is doubled. If the check is failed, then a Perils of the Warp attack is resolved, targeting the unit containing the model that failed its check. If the psyker survives Perils of the Warp, then it may attack as normal. Clearly, Rob has never read the Force rule before.
Librarians don't interest me.
Is it a comfortable rock you live under, Rob?
Yeah, very much so. Librarians just so meh. Like, oh.
And then the Storm Wrought Psychic Power. Instead of making a shooting attack, the controlling player of a psyker with this psychic power may select a single friendly unit with at least one model within 6 inches of the psyker that is composed entirely of models with the infantry, cavalry, or dreadnought unit types. The chosen unit gains the Shrouded 5+ special rule until the beginning of the controlling player's next shooting phase. When using this power, the controlling player may choose to have the psyker take a psychic check. If the check is passed, then the effect is improved to Shrouded 3+. If the check is failed, the Shrouded 5+ special rule is applied to the target unit, and the psyker suffers Perils of the War.
This is grade A horseshittery at its absolute finest. This is fucking unreal. Shrouded 3+. Go on.
It's just basically being surrounded by an ice storm, aren't you? Basically, yeah. That's cool.
I mean, that's worth the points on its own, surely.
Yep.
And the weapon is no joke. Like strength 10, AP 4.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, as a template as well.
And nice deflagrates as well.
Yeah.
That guy is fucking cool because you won't take him as telepathy, so you're not going to be accused of being a prick, but then you'll shroud up a massive unit for 3+ and you'll be a prick anyway, but it will just slip under the radar. So definitely well worth taking him. And I think we've got one more console.
So I think I've messed this up. Yeah, there is. There's the Speaker of the Dead.
Speaker of the Dead, yeah.
Points. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't included it. So apologies. I'll quickly talk through his rules. So Speaker of the Dead is a Legion Centurion, Tartarus Centurion, or Cataphracti Centurion with the Space Wolves special rule. Upgraded to Speaker of the Dead console and gains the following benefits. Special rules: the Speaker of the Dead must increase his leadership to 10, and the Speaker of the Dead and all models with Legionnaires as starters, Space Wolves special rule on the unit they join gain the Stubborn and Hatred Everything special rules. Speaker of the Dead gains a Narthesium and a Mastercrafted Power Maul for no additional points cost. Speaker of the Dead may not select 2 Lightning Claws or a Boarding Shield. So it's basically a souped up Primus metagame.
He's a mega chaplain as well, isn't he? And let's be honest.
Yeah, he's basically both. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sanguinary priest, is what he is. If anyone remembers those.
Yeah. I'll tell you what he is.
He's a fucking murderer. He's Speaker of the Dead, mate. Yeah, exactly. He speaks to the dead, and they tell him take a mastercrafted power maul for maximum boner points, plus 10 boner points for mastercrafted power maul. Fucking hell. So yeah, you're gonna include all of these, I think, in your army.
I mean, hatred everything in a close combat unit is that's already like being
it's already
shit.
Yeah. Hey
It's
guys,
next level, isn't it?
we heard you like buffs. Here's some buffs for your buffs.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
fucking-
Here's a picture of Lehman Russ.
I think the most like the saddest thing is you've got some absolutely awesome console choices that can't be taken in the Black Watch Rite of War because you're going to need something with Master of the Legion like a Jarl, right? And you can't take all these absolute awesome console choices with them as well because you're limited on the allies attachment.
But don't worry, Rob, because there are two other fantastic Rites of War you could use instead.
That's a good point. And you could just do a primary detachment, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And also, you're going to get hatred from the Speak of the Dead anyway.
Yes,
so just stick a load in.
Yeah.
Right. What's next, Lee? After this picture of this absolute Chad.
Well,
the ice skating Viking.
Yeah. Oh, this guy. So let's precursor to say that there are largely bad Primarchs in the game, and then there are some really, really, really good ones. And it doesn't necessarily take the smartest man out there to work out which category this guy falls into. So Lehman Russ, the Wolf King of Fenris.
Have either of you played him? Against
no.
Not yet. I hope I never do.
He's fucking apeshit.
Of course he is.
Yep.
Of course he is. Do you remember when Book 7 dropped and the world
and he was even more apeshit?
Yeah.
Because you could only hit him on sixes, couldn't you? If you were locked in combat. It was crazy.
So he's movement 8, which is good. So I think the majority of the Primarchs are still movement 7. So that's
got skates on.
He's weapon skill 8, which is again absolute. So weapon skill 8 is the premier weapon skill for a Primarch to have. Only BS 6, whatever. Strength 7. Sorry, toughness 6, 6 wounds, initiative 7. Again, by the way, that is also good.
Yeah,
he has 7 attacks. Obviously, he's leadership 10. He's obviously got 2 up save. He's got
and he can run and he can fucking charge.
Correct, so he can do that. He's also got so we'll talk about the war in a second, but his special rules are March of the Legion, wonderful. Howl of the Death Wolf. He's got counterattack 2, and he's obviously a loyalist. Or is he? He's got like all the Primarchs, they've got like a Legion buff. So his is Sire the Space Wolves. So he only has access to this warlord trait. So ignore the others. All models with the Space Wolves special rule in the same army as Lehman Russ gain a bonus of +1 to their strength for the duration of any turn in which they successfully charge an enemy unit. So he's already strength 8.
Yeah.
Everyone else is it's fucking nuts. In addition, an army of Lehman Russ as its warlord may make an additional reaction in the opposing player's assault phase, as long as Lehman Russ has not been removed to the casualty. I think that's really useful because if you do get charged, there's a lot of stuff that's got counterattacks and potentially sort of disordering opponents' charges to reduce their potency, and then punching them back really hard is going to be it's going to be something that you can kind of almost build into a little bit. Howl of the Death Wolf is his other kind of major special rule. Once per battle, Lehman Russ's controlling player may declare the use of this special rule at the start of their turn. For the duration of that player turn only, all friendly models with a Space Wolf special rule gain a bonus of +1 to their movement, and any units that include one or models with a Legion started Space Wolf special rule must take an immediate pinning test. So you do see Traitor Space Wolves out at the moment. I've got a friend of mine, James, that playing Traitor Wolves, but this is fucking nuts. So they get +1 movement. Some of the guys are going to have fleet. They're running. They're charging. I mean, their threat range is just unreal.
I feel like it's becoming fairly obvious that you rather than just charging Space Wolves forwards, you really want to plan to have your whole force kind of hitting at the same time, don't you? You want to. You want to set it up so you've got multiple units all charging on the same turn, so you can start fucking banging out these once per battle things and just absolutely buff the tits off units that are already buffed to tits. Just absolutely come in like a sledgehammer.
Movement 9 brackets Russ up 2 for the purposes of charge distance. Is that correct?
Say that again.
So I'm just thinking. I remember.
Sorry, yes, that's right.
Conflict,
but... So he can charge. He's got +1 to his charge, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he gets +1
Really?
normally for being movement
Yeah.
8, but movement in theory he become movement 9. But I know there's a slightly odd rules interaction regarding the bracketing for additional charges with regards to base movement and buff movement. Because I had this conversation with a Thousand Suns player recently about some of the biomancy stuff. So anyway, by the by, doesn't fucking matter. They're rapid. They are absolutely rapid.
I think what's also interesting, he has skirmish. He must be one of the only Primarchs that has skirmish as well.
Yeah, I hadn't picked up on that actually.
Yeah, it's a running theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there must be a unit coming up
Yeah.
that has skirmish that you can put them with, right?
Cool. So let's have a look at some of the war gear. So we have the armor Elvagar. The armor Elvagar confers a 2+ invulnerable save and a 2+ armor save and 4 invulnerable, which is pretty good. Which is increased to 3 against flame melter and plasma weaponry of any kind. So you are finding more of the Primarchs have got 3 up invulnerable these days, but whatever, it doesn't really matter because they're not going to be alive long enough to hit him back. So in addition, any models in base contact with Leman Russ suffer a penalty of -1 to hit him in an assault at any turn in which Leman Russ makes a successful charge.
So you need a big unit really that's going to throw lots of attacks in that are not in base contact with him in order to kind of take him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Sword of Bale Knight, that's +1 strength. So he's also getting additional +1 strength when he charges. So he's going to be strength 9 on the charge. Potentially, some of the Rites of War is there one that gives him +1 strength for the charge as well. Who knows?
I think that's the Warlord trait, wasn't
Warlord
it?
trait. It was. You're right.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's got a Murderous Strike 4+. Great. Brutal 2, Fearsome Ruin, and it's Mastercrafted. So he's going to be hitting on 3s, potentially 2s at some point, being weapon skill 8.
So good. And just to say as well, because when I played against him, and this was very, very early on, those brutal attacks will gain Murderous Strike as well. So there really is nothing that you can
There's nothing you can do. Absolutely. Fearsome Ruin, any unit which suffers 1 or more casualties from a weapon with this special rule and makes a morale check during the assault phase. So essentially, if they ultimately lose combat, if there's any of them left to lose combat after Ross and his bodyguard have been in there, must roll an additional d6 for that check and keep the 2 highest dice to determine the result. So rather than Perturaba making them cold-blooded, this makes them hot-blooded. Who knows? Doesn't matter. They're all going to be dead anyway. Don't stress about it. But he's also got the Axe of Hellwinter. So he gets a sword and an axe, which is +2 strength, AP2, which is melee sunder. So again, just in case you need to punch through the side of a Fellblade. It's got Reaping Blow and it's Mastercrafted. So he's getting tons of attacks.
Well, yeah, and they're both melee
Loads of
weapons,
hits.
aren't they?
Yep.
So they get +1 for the paired weapons.
And he's got super high strength that strikes initiative as well. So fucking, what are you going to do? What's he going to do? Going to die. And then he's got Scorn Spitter. The weapon here is counted as a bolt weapon for those rules that affect such weapons. So it's got a terrible strength. I mean, he's not going to be firing anyway.
No, it's going to be snap shooting because he's going to be running.
It's going to be a fuck. Yeah, it's 12-inch range, strength 4, AP3, assault 3, rending 6+, whatever. Don't even bother learning those rules.
I just don't think you'll ever win in close combat against him. So you're going to have to shoot the fuck out of him, aren't you? I mean, that's what it comes down to. Like, if you want to try and remove him off the board, like your opponent's kind of shooting is the priority to get off the board, really.
Yeah, and you can probably try and tar pit him a little bit, but like, what tar pit's going to stand up for more than
you need a fearless unit
turns?
that's fucking huge to be able to do that. But and that's not necessarily easy to come by in the Legion list. But he's an absolute beast. I actually think just the Murderous Strike combined with the Brutal 2, like even against Primarchs, you're going to lose D3 wounds on each of those brutes on the Brutals, right? So I think it's just really
he is right. As well he should be, to be fair, but he is fucking horrific. So what's next after this absolute nutter? Do we get worse or better? Oh, he's got 2 dogs, I forget. Yeah. just in case he wasn't enough on his own. So here you go. Here's the skirmishing dogs that he fights with. To be fair, like considering the high movement they've got as well, I think there's a strong argument to let him fuck off on his own.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
he's, you can use the dogs for ablative wounds. You've got 8 ablative wounds there.
He's rapid enough to get around the board
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
So anyway, does one of you want to talk about the Wolfkin?
Yeah, I'll do it. Wolfkin of Russ, 100 points. Frecky the Swift and Gary the Cunning, the Hearth Walls of the King. So Frecky, movement 10, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 0. Interestingly enough, wolves can't use pistols. Strength 5, toughness 5, wounds 4, initiative 5, attacks 4, leadership 8, 5+ save. Is it Gary or Jerry? What are we going for?
I think it's Jerry, is it not?
Jerry.
I think it's Jerry as well. Yeah.
I love that they've got different weapon skills. I really, that
Yeah.
really makes them quite characterful. The fact that one's
Absolutely.
awesome in close combat.
And they've got teeth
movement
and
10, weapon
claws.
skill 7, ballistic skill 0, strength 5, toughness 5, wounds 4, initiative 5, attacks 3. Leadership 8, 5+ save. Skirmish, light, unique. War gear, tooth and claw. Special rules: Wolfkin of Rust, fearless, fear 1, rampage 2, hammer of rough 1, feel no pain 5+, and bulky 4. The Wolfkin of Rust may only be taken in a detachment if Le Mans Russ is in the same detachment. If they are chosen as part of a detachment, they are treated as a HQ choice so far as any special rule, objective, or mission is concerned, but do not take up slots on the force org chart. This unit cannot be joined by any other model except your man Russ. Weapons, tooth and claw, range nothing, strength user, AP4, melee, breaching 6+.
Still pretty good, right? That's nothing to be sniffed at for 100 points. I mean, they're basically Centurions in and of themselves without the 2-up save. They've got feel no pain and a 5-up save on top of that as well. I think they're pretty alike. They've got a lot of attacks in close combat due to the as you say, just running around with Lehman Russ, I think they would be absolutely awesome.
Fucking cool. Yeah. Also, as well, just sending them off on their own. Like we talked about, like if we were playing old fantasy, you'd send these guys off to Cannon Crew every day of the week.
Yeah, there's ablative wounds for Russ, I think, to be able to get into close combat. I think, brilliant.
Well, especially the fact that they cause fear and they've got 5 up, feel no pain, and the toughness 5, and you've got 8 wounds to get through before you're going to start. And we know that you can do some sensible and useful things with cycling the wounds around as well. So you've got I think
I like the idea of just sending these off. If there's recon squads sat around or whatever's fucking annoying you at the back, just send these things off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the only thing I would say with running him on his own is that you wouldn't be able to run and well, they're giving him movement 10, haven't they? So basically what they're doing is they're allowing Russ to run as part of the movement, and then Frecky and Jerry can keep up, and then you can charge with both of them from there. So that's why I think they've given them the additional movement as well. So if you do want to run them, then he's not kind of slowed too.
Yeah, well, also these guys, they haven't got the legal spatial rules, so they can't run a charge.
That's what I mean. So that's why they've got leadership. They've got movement 10, so they can kind of keep up when Russ does do the move and the
because so you just don't run them in the same unit because obviously they don't stop. You just don't attach them to each other. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Fine. Wonderful. Don't hate that at all. I think these are cool. I think these are fucking cool. The models are pretty decent. The only thing that I don't necessarily love about the model is I don't love the fact that they're just like chomping on 1,000 sun.
Yeah, you just got to carry 1,000 sun around with you at the battlefield.
Precisely, like in a little treat bag.
I feel like if we just go back, if you turn that 1,000 sun around, you could have him so he's constantly running away from him.
They're easily taken away from the bases, though, right? You can just put them on normal.
Yeah.
But where's the fun in that when you can have constantly chasing him from Prospero all the way across the 500 worlds to Terra? So I think for 100 points, if you don't take these, you're missing the point of life. So they can, I suppose, apart from maybe tipping you over a threshold. But again, if you're taking a Primarch in 2,000 points, then you need to have a word with yourself anyway. So right, what's next? this guy, this fucking
The worst
guy.
hair in Heresy, surely. This is
It's
just
terrible.
I mean,
isn't it?
dreadful.
Let's before we get started, the worst something in Heresy is going to be a bit of a running theme for the next sort of half an hour or so.
Fair play.
We'll start off with the worst hair and worst lightning claw
We've
talons.
got a
in
few more
Heresy.
models to go through. Yeah, I like this model, but that hair is so 40k, isn't it?
Yeah, just needs a head.
They hadn't got this right. Plastic characters they hadn't quite got. That, to be fair, Ahriman came out at the same time and he was like fine. He was fine. So right, what about this dickhead? What's he doing these days? Rob, what is he doing? No, you read the last one. No, yeah, it's your turn. You haven't.
So Geiger Fellhand, who is also known as Bjorn the Fell-Handed, basically. So he's movement 7, weapon skill 5, but skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, wounds 3, initiative 5, attacks 3, initiative 9, top save, and he comes in at a rather cheap 135 points, I think. He's got the war gear, nothing too exciting apart from the refractor field and then the fell hand. He is the most notable thing about his unit type is that he's also skirmish as well. But all these skirmish units are absolutely fantastic for both cover saves and for getting hit with blasts. I think we haven't talked about it yet, but that 3-inch kind of being able to kind of be 3 inches apart makes you feel like a custodian guard. It's absolutely amazing. So he's got Relentless, Counterattack 1, Master of the Legion, so he could unlock a Rite of War very, very cheaply, and Crown Breaker. So we've gone through Crown Breaker before. It gives preferred enemy independent characters and feel no pain if you're locked in combat with an independent character as well. And he also has a free movement phase reaction. And then his weapon is the Fell Hand. It's +1 strength, AP3. It's got Master Crafted, which makes up for the fact that he's got not that many attacks. A Rending 5-up, Shred, and Reaping Below. I think the Rending 5-up is pretty good. He's just fairly cheap. I don't think he's amazing. You're probably going to want a Praetor upgraded with the Jarl upgrade, I think. But if you want a cheap Allied Detachment HQ, I think he might be the one. Or you are just looking for something in a 2,000 point game, he might be the guy to go to unlock a Rite of War. But not amazing, but he's all right.
Yeah, I think that's a good summation, but he needs a better model, or he needs a hat.
Yeah, yes, a hat will do. Yes.
Cool. So we've got quite a lot of these actually. There are quite a number of unique units and characters to get through. So
yeah.
What's next, Lee? Because I haven't read the. Oh, fucking hell.
Bastard!
Yeah. The worst paint job in Heresy.
Babies.
This is the redone paint job. This one looks all right.
Apologies. And to be fair, I shouldn't criticize paint jobs and stuff because I am by no means the world's greatest painter. So anyway. So this guy is a Jarl. So we've had a Thane, now we've got a Jarl. So Lee, you like this guy. You said he was your favourite, so why don't you talk
so 210 points. Movement 7, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, wounds 4, initiative 5, attacks 4, leadership 10, 2+ save. He has Hearth Splitter, Heavy Bolter, Grenade Harness, Iron Halo, and he is in Tartarus armor. Special rules: independent character, Battle, Cunning, Legionist of Starter, Space Wolves, Master of Legion, Relentless, Inexorable, Counterattack 1, Fear 1, Bulky 2, Warlord trait, Head Taker. So Warlord trait, Hull Red Blade, and all models in any friendly unit he joins gain the preferred enemy infantry special rule. In addition, an army with Hull Red Blade as its warlord may make an additional reaction during their opponent's assault phase as long as he's not been removed as a casualty.
That's a great warlord trait.
That's fucking
it will always go off because you're going to be fighting you're always going to be fighting infantry pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Battle Cunning. Up to 3 units composed entirely of models with the infantry unit type and the same detachment as whole Red Blade may be given the Scout special rule.
That is like, so you just already further up into people's grill.
Yeah.
Like that in itself is worth 80 of his 210 points.
Yeah.
Before the fact that we realized that he's one-handing a heavy bolter.
And his weapon, half splitter, range nothing, strength +2, AP2, melee, armor bane, melee.
Just re-rolls failed to win, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. So an
but-
AP2 weapon with a high strength that strikes at initiative as well, which is pretty rare. And he
He's
causes
well worth his points. He's well
worth his points.
Yeah. Yeah.
He causes fear. He's inexorable. He's got counter attack. He's got Master Legion. He can make scout. He's got the head take. I think this he is genuinely efficient as fuck.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what unit you put him with, though, because you're not going to put him with. You can put him with Varagir, but they're going to slow him down, and he doesn't really want to be slowed because he's in Tartarus armor. But if you put him with Tartarus, then they get all the speed, but they don't necessarily get the buffs to weapon skill. So perhaps going around with a command squad might be a really good option for AWOL.
What about Varagir in a Spartan?
Yeah, I think it's fine, but I think that they won't be able to sweep, and I think the fact that he's got Tartarus.
I think if you have preferred enemy infantry and you're buffed to fuck, you probably aren't that bothered about sweeping because you're going to be planning to chew through everything you hit.
Yeah, but then on the flip side, somebody else is going to say that about their specialist unit, right? I mean, they're just going to be like, well, my 10-man squad of power
Is
Imperial Fist dudes that are going to be able to go through that unit. So I just think that
I don't know. I disagree with that, to be honest. I wouldn't say, like, I don't look at my word bearers units and think, right, that unit's going to hit something and absolutely destroy it because it's getting.
Well, you should be thinking like that. I just think so. For me personally, I put him with Tartarus. Tartarus squad. I think.
Okay, right. If playing devil's advocate, if he was in Cataphractii armor, what would you do with him?
I put him with Varagir.
In a Spartan, correct.
right. Let's just move on.
I think the main reason you're taking this guy is to give 3 unit scout.
Yeah, 100%. And he causes
enemy
fear.
infantry is great, but that's why I would be taking this guy to be
Scout is Spartan with full of Varagir forwards.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. And he's fucking one-handed in the heavy bolter, and he looks like Mike Myers dressed as a squeeze.
I would
All good.
definitely change that head.
No, leave it. Leave that thing well alone. And if he's not wearing,
like,
if he's not wearing a Jimmy wig, then then he's done something wrong.
Not to go off on a tangent, but I'm just going to go back again. It's the most 40k fucking head going. That could come off a 40k Space Wolf sprue. Just fucking stop it.
I find it odd that he's called Havar Redblade and he doesn't have any red on his blade either.
And I really hate the constant like a wolf skulls on everything. Like every opportunity. On top of his heavy bolter trigger, wolf skull. On his knee, wolf skull. On the back of his axe, a wolf skull.
Yeah.
Like, he's got fucking 2 of them on his fucking dick plate. Like they're just fucking everywhere. And this is only the front. We can't even see the back.
He's got one on the back of his axe.
Yeah.
Which is red. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Move on.
Fuck off you.
Yeah. Oh my god. These are the least worst looking of the units.
Yeah, these are excellent. I think these are peak space.
So, before we move on from HQ, shall we have a little break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. We're going to do is we've got 50 minutes fly through these.
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah,
absolutely. Right. Welcome back to Heresyhammer. We're talking about these guys. We've decided that these are the models we hate the least, so we're going to do it first.
I'd go as far as to say I fucking love these.
Yeah, I do quite like them actually. I will concede. I actually do quite like them.
This is how you do a skull helmet without it looking complete dog shit. Like
yeah. Just looks wolf shit. Hey. Right, Death Sworn. So these guys are an elite choice. So interestingly, their stat line is movement 7, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, attacks 2. So they're worse than a veteran.
But they got a 2-up save, right?
But they've got a 2-up save. So they are heavy infantry. They come armed with a bolt pistol, a power axe, not frost axe, but a power axe. Frag and crack grenades, Ymira class stasis bombs. What are they? I hear you ask. We'll come to that in a second. Artificer armor for that juicy 2-up save. They've got some special rules. They've got the Cult of Morkai, the Dreams of the Death Wolf, counterattack 1, and they are stubborn.
These seem like the perfect unit to take in an allied detachment.
Well, funny enough you say that. So you can take an additional 5 Death Sworn. Oh, they're 175 points for 5 as well. So those stasis bombs want to be worth it. So they're 30 points each for additional guys. Any model may exchange its power axe for a power fist for 15 points. I think
that is fucking amazing. That's fucking awesome.
Correct, but it is they are going to get spendy quickly as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
For every 5 models in the unit, 1 model may exchange its power axe for one of the following: a Great Frostblade, the good one, or a Thunder Hammer, also the better one. An entire unit may take melter bombs or rad grenades. Both good choices. These guys are going to get expensive quickly. The fact they've got 2 wounds is going to help them, and a 2-up save, so hopefully keep them alive. So Cult of Morkai and Dreams of the Death Wolf. What do they do, Lee? Why don't you tell us?
Can I just say one thing? What you were saying about
one thing.
You're saying take him in an allied detachment to run the Black Watch, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
But these are heavy, so they can't run, and you can't take vehicles in that allied detachment.
Oh, put them in
they
the
would
bin.
be shuffling across.
Look at his little face. His dreams have just been shattered. Look at his little face.
Really upset.
To get the fuck out of here.
Although that's good, because before I spend 140 quid on 10 of them, it's good to know that.
Yeah. So, Cult of Morkai, Lee, what does it do when it's at home?
Oh god, this is a lot of reading for me.
What? Just the title?
Yeah, Cult of Morkai. Death Sworn packs may not be joined by models with an independent character special rule other than models with the Speaker of the Dead or Caster of Runes console upgrade. In addition, a Death Sworn pack may be selected as a retinue squad in a detachment that includes at least 1 model with the Speaker of the Dead or Caster of Runes console upgrade, instead of as an elite's choice. The unit selected as a retinue squad must have 1 model with the Speaker of the Dead or Caster of Runes console upgrade from the same detachment, selected by the controlling player as the Death Sworn pack's leader for the purpose of the special rule. A Death Sworn pack selected as a retinue squad does not use up a Force Org slot and is considered part of the same unit as the model selected as leader. Death Sworn pack selected as a retinue squad must be deployed with the model selected as its leader deployed as part of the unit, and the leader may not voluntarily leave the retinue squad during
cool.
play.
I like that a lot. Frees up an elite slot.
It does, but honest to God, like, why are we bothering? Like, why write a sentence when you can use a paragraph instead, right?
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, isn't it? Just it can be taken as a retinue squad. Done. Fucking
yeah. Right. Rob, Dreams of the Death Wolf. Tell us about your dreams.
I dreamed that I could take these in an allied.
That's been shattered.
Fucking possible now. If a Death Sworn model loses its last wound during the assault phase before having made any attacks, place that model to one side instead of removing it from play as casualty in initiative step 1. All models placed to the side in this fashion may make a single attack before being removed as a casualty. Models removed as casualties in this fashion are still counted for resolving which side has won a combat. So they're kind of like spooky ghost attacks, like, and then they just do get 1 attack back.
That's quite cool. This is quite an Age of Sigmar mechanic that you see quite a lot, and I think it's quite nice. I think it's good. I like it.
They had this in the last edition, didn't they? They had the rule.
I don't think it was 1 attack though. I think you could.
I think they could have just attacked normally, couldn't they?
If one guy was still alive, then everybody could just get their attack.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit mental. Okay, right. And then we've finally the Ymira class stasis bombs. So any unit which successfully charges a unit that includes 1 or more models with Ymira class stasis bombs must make a disordered charge. Fair enough. In addition, the controlling player of a unit that includes any models with this weapon may choose to activate the stasis bombs when declaring a charge for that unit. Before any dice are rolled to determine the charge distance, the stasis bomb remain active until the start of the controlling player's next turn and may be activated again if another charge is later declared for that unit. Whilst activated, all models with the stasis bombs must add both the Fleshbane and Gets Hot special rules to all attacks made during the fight subphase. All wounds inflicted by the Gets Hot special rule on a model with an activated stasis bomb resolves using the AP weapon of the value with the blah blah blah. So they've all got power axes, so they're all going to be killing themselves.
Yeah.
So
I'm not convinced the Gets Hot's worth that really.
Nope, I don't think so.
No, because you're going to be wounding on 3s anyway. Power axes normally, like you could get fucking +1 strength on a big jillion things either through rights or a warlord trait or whatever. I don't know.
Now the problem you've got is the fact that the points cost for this is baked into the unit's points cost.
Yeah.
So you are going to be paying for something you're probably unlikely to use.
Yeah.
I think that's where they potentially fall.
Yeah.
Teeny weeny bit.
I think that they would in a Proteus with a Speaker of the Dead or whatever. I think that this would hit like a fucking sledgehammer if you put 3 or 4 power fists in the unit. You know, properly upgraded them. Like this would do some fucking devastation to a unit.
Yeah, you need to have that Speaker of the no, not Speaker of the Dead, the other one. No, Speaker of the Dead. The one that gives a hatred because they're only weapon skill 4. So a lot of the stuff they're going to want to pound into the ground is probably going to be weapon skill 5.
That's the only thing with this unit, isn't it? It's the weapon skill 4 is such a huge thing. But they
can't run, so they've got +1 weapon skill.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah. Well done, Rob.
Charge.
Thank you for remembering the rules.
On the charge.
Yeah, on the charge. So don't get them charged.
Always be charging.
Yeah. Okay, so they're cool. We like the models. The rules are pretty good. They're quite funky. They're quite unique. Bang them in a Land Raider. Just the answer to everything in Heresy is pop them in a Land Raider, stick them forwards.
Yeah. That's new plastic Proteus just came out, isn't it? Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, what's next? Oh, these guys.
Banana fur.
Banana fur, indeed.
Banana fur yields a 3-up invulnerable save, I assume.
Yeah, so another relatively poor attempt at making something good. To be fair, these parts of these are really the guys, the movement of the guys striding forwards, really good. But I think I could have done better green stuff in work on the first.
Do you ever remember Forge World made 40k Terminator Space Wolves torso and heads?
I do remember those.
You remember them?
Amazing.
If you remember them, you will realize how shit these are because they were fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it just goes to show what they could have do and what they've done for current Space Wolves players.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it because I'm sure there'll be a picture of them. But the old 40k Forge World Space Wolves Terminators torso upgrade, they were fucking brilliant.
I must say, I have used the combi bolters and the belt fed ones on my Iron Warriors Dominators to represent the shrapnel combi bolters, and they look as fuck. Really
I've seen some like easily converted versions of this where people have drilled out the bananas and done their own fur and they do look good, but when you're spending that much money on a unit, you don't really want to be fucking around.
These are I'm going to stick these in the neither love nor hate category.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, right. Anyway, what do their fucking rules do? Oh, look, they're insane. So, Rob, read the stat line for us, Chief.
So they come in at 250 points, which is, I think, quite cheap for an elite Terminator unit. That's on the cheaper side, but they don't get. I don't think there are many like Legion specific Terminator units that are less than that. I think even the Linneans are around 250. The Varigir is movement 6, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, attacks 2, leadership 8, and a 2-up save. And the Thane, the only difference to the above was that they come with an additional attack at 3 and additional leadership of 9. They come with 5 dudes in the unit. They're obviously all heavy, so they can't run, so they do benefit on the charge from +1 weapon skill. So when they charge, it'll be weapon skill 6, which is excellent. One of the following, so they're allowed one of the following, so you can choose what you want to arm them with. The models obviously come with the Frost Axe, So you might need to think about some conversions or whatever the fuck you want to do to be able to kind of upgrade them. So they either come with a Frost Axe, Frost Sword, or a Frost Claw, a Combi Bolter, and then Cataphractii. So they've got 2 up for it. They have Fear 1, Relentless, Counterattack 1, Stubborn, Hammer of Wrath 2. That's fucking amazing that they come with Hammer of Wrath 2. Fuck my life. So they're hitting you, or they're, straight away. Fuck, there's so many attacks at weapon skill 6 as well. Fuck. Lord's Bane, which we'll come to in a bit, and Bulky 2. So Lord's Bane, models with this special rule may issue and accept challenges as if they had the character subtype in combat. And in addition, when fighting the challenge, if the enemy challenger is removed as a casualty, then they may add an additional +1 to the number of successful wounds caused for the purposes of resolving which side has won a combat. So they're basically always going to win, essentially. In terms of what they can take, so they can take a Proteus Carrier as a dedicated transport if they're 5 models. If they're above that, then they can take a Spartan. And then additional Varagir, 45 points. I think that's quite cheap for what they do. 45 points is, I think, a bit of a bargain.
That's absolutely fine.
They can exchange a Frost Blade for one of the following: a Power Fist, a Chain Fist, or a Thunder Hammer. And just say the most important thing is the Thunder Hammer is a measly 15 points there, which is cheaper than a lot of other units. One Varagir can take a Vexilla.
Bothered.
And then the Combi Bolters. You can have Magna Combi Weapon, Minor Combi Weapon. This is what it's about: a second Frostblade, a Heavy Flamer, or a Reaper Auto Cannon. So I think if you're going to gear them up for close combat, you just basically sack off the Combi Bolter and put a second Frostblade on them because they're a specialist weapon, and you'll get even more attacks. And then your Thane can have a Great Frostblade for 10 points, and your Thane can also have a Grenade Harness for another 10 points. I think if you are coming out of a Spartan or a Proteus, you probably don't need to do that because it's got frag launchers, I think. But yeah,
you're gonna put them in a transport. You need to buy a transport.
Absolutely, yeah. But the fact that you can take a second Frostblade at 5 points apiece is fucking nuts. So I think probably the best thing to do is put a Chain Fist plus a Frostblade on, or a Thunder Hammer plus a Frostblade, or a Power Fist plus a Frostblade. That would be the thing to do. So they're equipped for all manner of close combats.
Wonderful. Lee, fuck do you reckon about these guys?
Can I just confirm something? Were the Frostblades special weapons, specialist weapons?
I don't know. I thought they were.
I don't remember if they are.
Should we have a look?
Bear with me 2 seconds. Let's just double check. Yes,
They are. Correct.
Well,
right. Crack on. Excellent. Right. That's a waste of everyone's life. Okay.
So they come with a fuck ton of attacks, basically. So which is going to murder your opponent, but they'll get pricey. So the Thunder Hammer plus a Frostblade is clearly the option you're going to go for because the Chain Fist, is just the option. So it's plus 20 points per guy. So add another 100 points on for the base unit. But even then, I still think they're worth it.
Mate, you're talking to a guy that spends 600 points on 10 Siege Tyrants and still thinks it's good value. So
exactly.
I totally get where you're coming from here.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. What's up next? These guys. Oh, look. There's one of them that's got a paper bag on his head. Again.
So these are the upgrade sprues that I actually liked.
These are the best of the. These are the best. Yeah.
These are the least bad. So Grey Slayers. So you're going to find that these guys are going to make up the majority of what you're going to see in your Space Wolf army. So the majority of what your guys are going to be are Grey Slayers. They're really cool. I think that not enough of the legions have unique troops choices. And I think that seeing unique troops choices in the game is something I'd like to see more and more if we ever get the chance to. So, Lee, let's have you. Have you got it in you to do this? Or
yeah. So Grey Slayer pack, 145 points for 10. Grey Slayers movement 7. Kind of standard marine stat, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, wounds 1, initiative 4, attacks 1, leadership 7, 3+ save, and the Husk goal has an extra attack and leadership 8. They come equipped with bolt pistol. They get Fenrisian axes already equipped, combat shields, frag grenades, crack grenades, power armor. They are infantry. They have the skirmish special rule.
There it is.
And line. Space rules obviously relentless, interestingly. Counterattack 1 and Heart of the Legion. They can be stuck in a Rhino or a Land Raider. That's interesting.
Fucking amazing that a troop
Yeah.
just come with a Land Raider.
Correct.
I kind of read that, not really thinking about it, and then I'm like, fucking hell, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
10 additional Grey Slayers can be added for 12 points. Someone else is going to have to go through these because I've
That's
fine. That's a bargain, by the way.
12 points. And you get a Fenrisian axe and a combat shield.
And counterattack.
Fuck! That's so good.
Yeah. So any model in the unit can exchange its combat shield for a bolt gun. Nope. Any model with a bolter may take a bayonet or a chain bayonet. Nope. This is where it gets fucking loco. Any model in the unit may exchange its Fenrisian axe for a power weapon for 5 points.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah.
That is fucking unreal.
You're not going to want to upgrade them all with power
No,
weapons.
because you want some ablative wounds for your guys with power.
You know, even 5 power axes in a squad of 15 is just woof. That's good.
And obviously they're skirmishing, and potentially they're going to be coming in from the fucking board edge with fleet and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
Cross and my. Any model in the unit, for every 5 models in the unit, 1 may exchange its Fenrisian axe for a heavy chainsword, a power fist, or a lightning claw. Power fist is 20 points. That feels like a lot.
Yeah, that's quite pricey, isn't it? It's probably not worth it.
You're going to probably take those power axes on you, or you might take a lightning claw here and there.
Yeah.
Every 5 models in the unit, 1 may exchange its bolt pistol for the Chad point weapon, a hand flamer for 5 points, or a plasma pistol for 10. I think you might start to see hand flamers if we start to see a bit more of a militia meta. So I don't rule out for 5 points. I think 1 or 2 of those sprinkled in might be quite cool.
I think you'd rather take a power axe than
or
a power weapon than a.
But why would you not take both?
I don't know.
Come on, think about it.
I'm not convinced.
Well, I don't know. I'm convinced. Come with me on this journey, Lee. So one of those Grey Slayers can take a Nuncio Fox, but again, bothered. May take a Vexilla, probably much more useful because you're going to be sitting around borders. It's quite a lot. The Huskarl can exchange his Fenrisian axe for one of the following options: a Power Fist, probably a better idea on him if you're going to take one. A Lightning Claw, a Frost Blade, or guys, get this, Thunderhammer. Thunderhammer on your squad sergeant. Really, really, really fucking cool. So
really fucking expensive at 25 points though.
Yeah, but
it's a lot.
Yeah, but it's still good. The Huskarl may exchange his bolt pistol on the following options: a hand flame or a plasma pistol. He can have 2 lightning claws, which is probably what you're going to do. I reckon.
Yeah, that's a much better option.
And he can take artificer armor, and he can also take melter bombers. So everything is good there. So Grey Slayers, these guys are fucking sick. If you're creating a Space Wolves armor, you're going to have loads and loads and loads of these. So get used to them because they are going to form the backbone of every single type of list.
I'd go squad of 15, and I'd run them on foot. I'd do artificer armor, 2 lightning claws on the sergeant, and then 5 power axes. And I think that's as far as I would upgrade them. Maybe a Vexilla if I'm feeling a bit naughty.
Cheeky. I think you're right. I think 15 is a good size for him as well.
I think the what's really great is the 3-inch kind of. They're going to be so spread out on the board as well. It's going to be really difficult for people to get on that Scorpius kind of fucking blast template to get many hits on that.
Yeah, cool. What about the other cool choice, Lee?
Upside down bolters.
This was a shambolic.
So no one has quite figured out what the fuck is going on here. I mean, obviously we have figured out the fuck's going on here.
They did sort it out. In fairness to them, they sorted it out, but it wasn't until the community basically spotted it the day that it was fucking released. It took like 5 seconds of actually looking at the pictures to work it out.
So upside down bolters and bags on their head. So Grey Stalkers, again, a very familiar stat line, familiar points cost. The main difference is that these are your, I mean, what are they? What are they doing in comparison to Grey Slayers? In fact, what are they doing in comparison to Grey Slayers? Why am I looking at this and just thinking, what is happening here?
They're just the one. They're just without. They're just with bolters, right? Without.
Yeah, no, they're not
they
even
don't
got
even
bolters.
come
They've
with
got bolt
bolters.
pistols. That's what I'm
Oh.
thinking.
You
Yeah,
have to
don't get these.
No,
There's-
fucking bin this right off. The
No,
models
yeah,
are
don't get
the
them.
models are shit and they don't work in the rules. So just move on. Come on, move on.
Yeah,
move on
next
from
one.
this.
Next.
Well, that's saved us a
You
chunk.
can
of
take
time.
a Land Raider as well.
Oh fuck that! Don't care about that.
You
Get
take
rid of
Land
it.
Rover with last lot.
This is their equipment.
Oh, okay.
This
okay.
is what they can retake.
Ugh. So they can take a bolter for a point.
Yeah.
No, you're just not going to. Oh, okay, what? 1 in every 5 models can take an interesting weapon.
Yeah, that's why they've got Relentless, isn't it?
A Volkite charge, a rotor cannon, a caliber plasma gun, metal gun.
I think, like,
Awkward.
as a serious discussion, I think you'd be making a massive mistake taking these and then arming them with, like, these specialist fancy weapons when you could be taking a close combat unit for a
Yeah.
Legion that's totally designed for close combat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like we are being flippant, but our flippancy is well grounded because these guys are just mad. This is a waste of paper.
Yeah, sack this off. Just take the guys from before and take them to the apothecary, and you that's the dream.
It's not just a dream, Rob. It can be reality. So yeah, we've immediately dismissed these guys as being shit.
I mean, I don't honestly know if we're missing something here, but they're basically the same points cost for
Yeah.
a worse unit. It just
Yeah, and they get less stuff for standard. I've got to pay points to take bolt guns, whereas the other guys got them for free. Look, this is the classic thing of if we're missing something here, because none of us play this army. I think I'd quite like to. I genuinely like all joking aside, I can see a Space Wolf army in my near future. But if we are missing something, please just write in the comments or email us, and we will shout you out and give you a huge boon, a credit for pointing us in the right direction, because we just can't make head nor tail of this
But
nonsense.
until then, don't fucking bother with it.
Yeah. Yeah, the official Heresyhammer line is: do not spend your hard-earned money. The money that Liz Truss has enabled you to keep in your pocket, do not spend them on this absolute shit.
Until someone tells us what we're doing wrong.
Yeah, exactly. At which point, buy them immediately. Right. Are we okay? So this is the Yorlans. These are the guys from the exemplary battles. Interestingly, they're a troops choice we touched on before. They're not an elite choice, and they're not seemingly a destroy unit. They're like a support squad unit. Who wants to read these out?
Yeah, go
okay.
on. Oh, go on.
Fight.
Yorland Hunter Pack, 125 points. Standard Space Marine stat. Don't need to go through that again. So 125 points gets you 5 Huntmaster and 4 Hunters. They come equipped with hand flamers, chain swords, frag grenades, crack grenades, power armor.
That's a bit naughty, isn't it? A hand flamer on each of them.
I thought hand flamers were shit. They were shit 2 minutes ago. What the fuck's going on now?
Shit on close
Now they're
on that
they're
unit.
good.
It's shit when they're 5 points each, and you can
Yeah,
take.
yeah. This is fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
When you just
Also,
get-
why are you going to take those fucking grey stalkers when these guys are 20 points cheaper and they come with a hand flamer?
Yeah.
No, there's only 5 of these.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Okay, fair enough. That's why.
So they don't have skirmish. Interestingly,
They missed the trick there, I think. Like, this is a perfect unit to have skirmish on, and it's
yeah, literally
like the one unit you want to have skirmish.
So they've obviously got the Space Rule, Special Rule, Crusader, Scouring, Tempest, Scout, and Support Squad. They can be taken in a Rhino, a Termite Assault Drill, or a Land Raider. Space Wolves are loving their Land Raiders, aren't they? So they are Support Squad.
And they're
they-
not line either.
Huh?
They're not line. And they also, but they can
No.
take the termite, which, as we've discovered, is absolutely terrible now.
Up to 10 additional hunters, 15 points each. Every 5 may take a flamer or a Volkite Serpenter. They can take a Vexilla. The Huntmaster can take melter bombs, artificial armor, a plasma pistol, or a frostblade. Exchanges chainsword for a frostblade. So Scouring Tempest. Once per battle during the shooting phase of one of their turns as the active player, the controlling player of a unit made up entirely of models with this special rule may choose to activate Scouring Tempest before the unit is selected to make a shooting attack. Until the end of the phase, all flame weapons in the unit gain the pinning and torrent 3-inch special rules.
Interesting.
Whoopsie.
So
There
I
we
would
go.
say that it says quite specifically to the end of the phase.
Mhm.
So you don't have this for a whole game turn, so you can't
No.
react with this. So I think that's an interesting to note. I think the fact that it's pinning is the fact that you've got flame weapons that are pinning is pretty good. You're probably going to pin the unit that you well, I'm not. I mean, they're gonna lose a couple.
Yeah.
Today, so there is a chance you'll be able to pin them. I think it's all right. I think it's quite a cool unit. I think
I
it's.
think
I like them.
they're
I think they're cool. It's basically a close combat flamer squad.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's it. Yeah, that's it. In a little rhino running around. I think this is cool as a real fucking hassle, actually.
Yeah, and they can. I think these guys are. They're a troop choice as well, right? And let's be fair, like you always end up with a spare troops choice and a spare few points. And these
Yeah.
guys just go and harry something. They scouts. They're going to be up in your grill straight away.
Yeah,
They've got
I think
they've
so.
got Crusader as well, which is
Yeah,
kind of weird but very cool.
yeah.
I
I think they're quite cool.
Yeah, I think
Take Fat Bastard, stick a couple of these in. You've got 5 units scouting straight off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah.
Cool. Right, I think is that all of them? Are we done? Oh, no. Never done with these guys. So here we have a plastic wolf. So the plastic wolf pack are basic. Let's not beat around the bush. These guys are going to be basic to look at and basic on the tabletop. They are. I'm guessing they're a non-compulsory troop.
I think they'll come under the retinue.
It comes under
Right,
practice.
retinue HQ.
Of
Read
course.
the fucking rules, then you'll find out.
Yeah, your fucking fat heads are blocking them, mate. So don't worry about it. So they are movement 7, weapon skill 3, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, 1 attack, leadership 5, 6 buff. I mean, great. They are light infantry and they can skirmish, obviously, because this is a Space Wolf unit. Pack retinue. So a Fenrisian wolf pack may only be chosen as a retinue from a model with both the Legion as a starting Space Wolf rule and Master of the Legion special rules. This model is referred to as the Fenrisian wolf pack leaders for the purposes of this special rule. The wolf pack does not use up a force org slot. Bothered. It must be deployed with the model. Bothered. Yeah, it's like any other retinue. Their claws have got shred. They're 10 points. I mean, no, don't bother.
Yeah, the problem is you can't then put them in a real like unit, right? As well.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 wounds potentially that you can pass things off on, but I think that you're probably just better to have an actual unit of dudes rather than these.
These guys are horseshit. Get rid.
Yeah. I
agreed.
I kind
agreed.
Of
agreed.
Like they're
Agreed.
shit, but I just think the modelling opportunity. I just think it's quite cool. Just a dude running around with his fucking. It's like a poor man's Lehman Russ.
Yeah, but you could just have Lehman Russ. You could just do it properly. Have Lehman Russ.
I like this. I don't know. I like it. I think it's quite cool. I don't think you would ever really run it unless you weren't bothered about fucking winning or
playing, having fun.
If you had some, fluff for your warlord or whatever, but I don't know. I think it's quite cool. I think it's another choice. I think it's quite cool. I mean, it is a shame that they are just that shit, but I think
really
it's quite cool.
shit. They're not even like.
I'm not. Although it doesn't specifically. So I think my question here would be: can my leader with his 5 wolves join another unit? Or is that
no? I don't think you can.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. You're on your own, running around with your dogs.
Yeah, okay.
All they needed to do was give a melee shred, rending 6 up. That'd have been fun.
Yeah.
But they haven't, so they're crap.
Yeah.
So they're hitting on fives, wounding on fives with one attack. Good job.
But what's there to say that like a unit can't join them though, right?
Well, because they're a
Because they're taken as
fair enough.
They're taken as part of his slot.
Yeah, but they don't count
use
like a retinue command squad would do. So
maybe if somebody knows, they can write below. Because I think that you for 25 points, you could have 5 more wounds that you can pass off on your dogs if you can take it in a unit. But if you can't attach this guy, then it's just not worth it.
30 points.
30. Oh, 4 additional. Sorry. 4 additional.
But still,
I read
matter.
that 3. Yeah.
I think they're shit. Lee thinks they're all right. We're trying to be balanced.
Shit. Don't get me wrong. I think they're shit, but I just think it's quite cool as well.
Right. Well, we can
need to
agree
investigate
to disagree.
In these.
Someone more learned than us, that's cleverer than us, do the maths and tell us if they're good or not, because we can't be asked to work it out because it's late and we're all tired.
So what is up next? Is this the end? Oh, look at that. So what are your closing thoughts about the Space Wolves then, Lee?
I fucking love these. I think in an edition where, as Rob banged on about in the last show, it's definitely a shooting meta. I think this is one of the legions that kind of actually stands a chance of being able to kick fuck into something. I've not played them in this edition. I don't know anyone who actually does play them. So I couldn't give you any actual battlefield data, but I just think like there are so many buffs and so many cool units that if a bit like the World Eaters, if you touch the enemy, you're going to kill them, but you need to kind of get there. But I think these guys are so fucking quick. You don't need to put them in vehicles if they're running. You can just run them across the board. You know, squads of 15 running across the board. You'll be fucking getting turn 1 charges off, you know.
Yeah. So hordes of space murderers is what you see in their future, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends how you want to do it. I think you could do a Pride of Legion. I think you're gonna struggle because you're gonna want to put all your Terminators in tanks. But I mean, they just buff everything, don't they? I mean, they make Legion Terminator squads actually be able to hit something.
They're very fucking cool. And just letting the viewership behind the curtain a little bit, Lee likes absolutely everything all the time. So
this is true. This is true. I even like salamanders.
So it was interesting having done the World Eaters show, you know, and then comparing it to this. So I think that these, I think probably on balance, do close combat slightly better. In the sense that they get into combat quicker, and their buffs around strength, I think, can really help. I think, though, that this is certainly more of a thinking man's army than World Eaters, because I think that you need to do quite a lot of synchronized assaults, especially with some warlord traits, or particularly with the Rite of War, where it was just that one turn buff. I think that you need to think carefully about your battle plan and the way in which that you line up units, and certainly have units working in parallel, because I think that, as Lee just said, I think if you don't have units working in parallel with one another, your units can still get shot to pieces, either through probably most likely through Overwatch. And I think that you've got to have units working in parallel when you do assaults here. But I think that the Legion rules allow you to do that because everything is so mobile and everything is so quick. Whereas lots of Legion lists are just basically like some shooty things, some things to grab objectives, and then one close combat unit in a Spartan, right? Whereas this, I think you will design your whole unit around, your whole list around close combat. So yeah, definitely a thinking man's close combat army. The other thing I think that we didn't have really time to explore is it'd be interesting to go back and seeing kind of what compounds with each other. So we looked at the barrier gear and the fact they've got +1 weapon skill, but I think that you could probably do some quite interesting things with your +1 strength that you get from either your warlord, and then see how that combines with frostblades, and see what you can leverage there. And I think there's probably things with rad grenades that you might be able to do with the Yamara assault units, and with the Deathsworn, that I think could do some really interesting things as well. So I think there's probably some kind of compounding things that will make them even better in close combat. I think Lee's also right. You don't see a lot of them around. I think that people who do Space Wars really love Space Wars, right? I think that it's always a Legion where if people do them, people fucking love them. But I suspect that's partly to do with the model range. And I think that if you were to buy these from Forge World, there's actually, in order to outfit a squad of 15 guys, you need a lot of fucking cash to be able to outfit them with just. So I suspect that the buying cost actually prevents a lot of people from just starting a Space Wars army, because we completely shot down the idea of chainsaws and bolters because we thought it was fucking dog shit. Well, that's what your Mark 6 would be armed with, right? Whereas you need Forge World upgrades or 3D printed upgrades to be able to do it. So I suspect that's why people kind of don't kind of get into it kind of 100%. But I think that if you're looking to start Space Wars, I think that and maybe you have a Legion army already, have a look at the Allied Detachment Rite of War, because that would be probably a great place to start with a small 1,000 points, and you could create quite something bespoke, like some cool watch pack kind of things, and then just build it up slowly, I think, because I think that you could spend a lot of money on upgrading these miniatures with what you want them to be armed with. And yeah, I think it'd be a huge money, a bit of a money pit army, but yeah, really cool. And Burning of Prospero is probably one of the best heresy books. And that if you want to find out more about Space Wars, Dan Abnett did an absolutely amazing job with that book.
Could not agree more. I think this is definitely the I think Murderers and Land Raiders is probably World Eaters. I think Murderers on Foot is probably this army. So
agreed.
Cool. Like I said,
I'll be honest, a mixture of both.
Yeah,
maybe war where you get out flanking, you can have your murderers running across the battlefield and your Terminators outflanking in your Land Raiders and Spartans. I don't know.
I think you've got to have one of the units of Grey Hunters outflanking that, I think, is part of the Rite of War. But by the by, well, that felt like a long time ago. So why don't you just maybe rewind 30 minutes and 45 minutes, an hour, see what we got up to then. Wonderful. So, I mean, personally, I think these are super iconic. I think there's some really great modeling opportunities, namely fixing some of the stuff they didn't get right first time round. And like I said, I think I could definitely see a little Space Wolf army in my near future. I think of all the legions we've started doing the deep dives on, these are the ones that have got me the most excited. And like I said, have piqued my interest for some time now. So we shall maybe see. Cool. So, Lee, is it working? It's the most important part of the show. So, as you may well be aware, we recently launched a Patreon. So we made the decision that we weren't going to run any ads on the main show because people had commented to us that they really liked the fact that there were no ads. They had to keep skipping through or watching through, and it kind of disrupted the flow of the show. So other than our very kind sponsors, we decided to offer people the chance to have even more Heresyhammer, which we will talk about in just a second. But before we do, we need to send special thanks to the following people. These people are on the Heresyhammer Roll of Honor, and they are subscribed to the Patreon at the Praetor tier, the most revered tier. So, without further ado, and in no particular order, well, I'm sure there is some sort of order, we have Ben Robinson. We have the 4th iteration of the Perpetual Water Cup. Ben, we have my man Shankly, we have Gore_Crow, who is, I think, a cool Instagram account. We've got Nicola Perisic, we've got Bradley Sloots, Patrick Greenstreet, Dale Menmuir, Mike,
Tom Hayward, shout out to Tom, Richard Willis, Neil Atherton, Thomas Silverstone, John McCardle, I'm guessing a Space Wolf player in Send Me to Valhalla, and Igor. I'm going to take a run up at this one, guys. Povolotsky is where I'm going to go with.
Pretty good. I think that's good.
Yeah,
I think what's amazing
wrong.
when you go through the Patreon and find out where these people they come from, it is amazing how far Heresyhammer has spread in terms of the international community. We have touched many people around the world.
We've gone all the way from Worcester to Gloucester, across to Leicester. So yeah, absolutely cool. So speaking of the Patreon, we've got some really cool stuff that's going on the Patreon over if you check out patreon.com/Heresyhammer or go to patreon.com and search for Heresyhammer. We've got some extra shows, we've got some other kind of free content for people to look at, we've got giveaways, we've got swag, we've got merch that people will get, and if we have anyone out there who has a product or service they would like to advertise on the show, we also have a special tier for a select few like kind of corporate sponsors to come through. So please check that out. Any support is really appreciated. I can't tell you how much time and fucking aggro there is to sort these shows out. The constant
Fraught tempers in the past 24 hours as well.
There haven't been many toys in the collective prams in the WhatsApp group for a little while. So please buy Liam beer. So obviously, first things first, grab us on Instagram. We're at Heresyhammer Show on Instagram. You can submit your photos for our consideration using the hashtag Heresyhammer. Obviously, please like, subscribe, comment, share, tell your friends, tell your Heresy buddies, tell your gaming group about us. We are probably the best Heresy show on this channel on YouTube.
On this channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
On
this channel.
So
110% we are.
So what we really like is passive aggressive comments in the in the comments telling us about how we've got stuff wrong, or we don't know what we're talking about, or it's too long or it's too short. So that's all good. If you've got any suggestions,
it's amazing as well, because when somebody does write a rules kind of like thing where we got it wrong, Lee goes into fucking meltdown about it. It's like we must deal with this right now. This thing, everyone needs to stop right now, whatever they're doing, and we've got to pay attention to the fact we got this wrong. It's just like John's just like, fuck it, man. Like we make our own rules now. Like
it's a community-led game. So you can email us at heresyhammer30k@gmail.com if you've got suggestions for things you'd like us to cover. The Tactica section now exists only on the Patreon, so if you're interested to know the tactical deep dives, Rob and I just recorded one on Assault Marines recently, and the fallout of that was we spent about the preceding 20 minutes recording that show going, they're just shit. They're actually pretty shit. Are we just going to tell people they're shit?
Fucking end away.
Yeah, but the fallout is actually there's some really cool things you can do with Assault Marines. So please join us on the Patreon and explore that, and we'll be going in some of those real tactical deep dives over on the Patreon. And yeah, I mean, you really just look after yourselves. I hope Heresy treats you very well for the next couple of weeks until we get together again and record another episode, assuming that everyone makes it back from their respective holidays in one piece.
And let us know what legions you want to see next.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one we genuinely haven't made a decision as to what legion's going to be. We have. It's not going to be salamanders, but it could be any of the other legions. And we will bow down to popular opinion. So if it is primarily salamanders players that want us to do a deep dive, then we will do salamanders. So just let us know in the comments what you want us to see, and catch us about on the various social medias. And I think, gentlemen, that's episode 11.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
Wonderful. Oh, one last thing to say as well. Apologies. Our competition that we're running over the next few weeks, there will be a separate video that I believe
Paul
is going to grace us. Paul is going to grace us for. So there'll be up a video that will detail what's going on with the giveaway and how you can win some cool swag.
So what's going to happen is in a week's time, they'll be like, Lee, can you do a PowerPoint quickly? 'Cause
And everyone else will be on holiday, so it would just be Lee having an existential crisis all by himself, speaking
just be me
into the
smashing my
void.
computer.
Into the void. So there you go. Right, gents, I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope everyone out there in Heresy Land has a great time doing whatever it is they're doing, and we look forward to seeing you, in a couple more weeks.
See ya.
Cool. Bye bye.